when they get to a fifth practice under Doc. And this is the question I want to ask you guys from Kevin 685-81604. He says, I really think Doc should place Middleton on the bench as a scorer. It will help bench production for the team as a whole. If he starts, it will slow down the pace on both sides. Just saying. So that's the question. Before we go to game balls, that's the question I want to get to. Question on the floor. When Khris Middleton returns, and we don't know how long it's going to be, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no idea. When Khris Middleton returns, do you think that he should be a bench player? Should he come off of the bench, and could he, in that role, almost like I think Klay Thompson still starting, but how Klay Thompson doesn't finish games? Should Khris Middleton come off the bench, and could that bolster this team? As like I said, in that second unit, imagine the second unit of like Pat Bev, AJ Green, Khris Middleton, and Bobby Portis, where Khris Middleton is now Khris Middleton going against second stringers as opposed to having to go against ones all the time, and probably one of your best wing defenders. Maybe he's now going against a backup unit. I mean, I'd say there's some credence to it. I don't think I would go for it. I don't think he's there just yet. But I mean, I understand why people are saying that. What do you guys think about that?
Listen, if this team continues to roll like this as he comes back, don't rush that man back. Listen, you could throw him with the second team for let's see what it looks like, right? I 100% would be open to that, right? It may not be a permanent thing, but yeah, if he's going to play a couple games, he'll come off the bench. Okay, fine. Now, I don't know what that does for Khris as far as his feelings go, and if he might feel some type of way, because everybody's got an ego, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm not against that. One thing I will say though, right, and I don't want to throw I don't want to throw this. I don't want to throw this out there and have it be controversial, but it's late. Everybody got to go to work tomorrow, so I get it. But you know how during the trade deadline we were clamoring for we should bring in this player, we should make this trade, we should do this, we should do that, right? Is it possible that at this point the solution to a lot of our issues was a move like Pat Beverly, but the balance of which comes from within? Was a solution to our issues not so much personnel as much as it was coaching and strategy and how we're going to do things, right? Like, it's a question that I just think that it's a fair one to ask. I mean, granted, it's been 2 games, but looking at some of the different things that Doc has been able to do, looking at how guys have responded, looking at the overall performances here, defensively, like you said, you said on Bucks and 60, we got rid of the Swiss cheese D. Right, we got rid of the look. I'm gonna give you all the lanes and go ahead and drive to the bucket. Right, we're gonna give you that. We're just gonna give you 3. Right, we've changed a lot of this, the mixing and matching and putting guys in position here. I'm kind of thinking that maybe our problem wasn't as bad as we thought it was earlier. Maybe the issues weren't as bad as it was or that we thought it was earlier with personnel is one, and 2, I'm thinking maybe Doc's in his bag a little bit. Maybe coaching is helping solve this problem too.
Well, I think that was a situation that we also just had to wait out, and he had to kind of feel out the team. I think Trey and I had said that they could still figure it out even if they didn't make a trade at all. But definitely adding Pat Beverly into the fold and then playing AJ Green a little more and getting the young guys out there. I think that's also why you're seeing this Bucks team create a little momentum. As far as Khris going to the bench goes, I think that it would be nice to see. Like, I'm on the same page as JT with this. Like, it would be nice to see, and when you kind of ramp him up and get him against some second stringers, I think it would be good, and it'll allow him to kind of read some defenses and what they're doing. But I also think that there's a lot of scoring to go around in that starting 5 when he's in there. So it's like I think they play a little bit more freely when they have a role player out there like a Jay Crowder and a Malik Beasley who's a catch and shoot guy. That way they don't have to get their superstars, all 3 of them, their big 3, all the shots. And so I think that works a little bit as well. You probably at the end of games you probably wouldn't go to it as much. You probably have Khris out there because it's clutch shot making. But other than that, like I think I would like to see some of those looks.
Yeah, and to your point, just because you don't start doesn't mean you don't finish. So yeah, you could still finish with that closing group and have Khris, Giannis, and Dame out there. But that's a great point you make, Chris, where you bring up, do you play a little more free when Khris Middleton's not on the floor? Because there are times I feel like where guys go, okay, it's been a lot of Dames, been a lot of Giannis. All right, it's got to be Khris. It's Chris's turn now, and you hate getting into that, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's my turn, your turn. Well, you haven't shot the ball in 4 possessions, so you got to shoot the ball now. You don't want to turn into that. So there's some good points to that.